Hi everybody, it's Art Roberts here, and I'm gonna make a little bit of a video to show a fantastic business opportunity to create another gigantic internet company the size of something like we've seen Facebook accomplish. And we've seen Google, and we've seen MySpace, and we've seen YouTube, and we've seen all these big companies developing gigantic companies. But there happens to be another opportunity for another one that exists in the educational world. And so I'm going to bring out the points that show it. So there's a big problem in America that's going on in the educational area. For instance, here's millions of kids, right? And students and adults, and they go to educational institutions and they try to learn, schools and everything like that, right? And they try to learn how to deal with the big upcoming life. But there's massive failure going on. There also is a huge problem in the background that's even worse. There's something that's always been missing in our schools and never talked about. And so I'm going to illustrate the problem in a way to turn it into a metaphor so it makes sense. So for instance, as adults, right, in the adult world, if we were forced, what we did as adults is we did nothing but swimming. That's just going to be a metaphor. We don't, that's not the deal. We have to work for a living, but we're just going to call it swimming, right? In this illustration. It would mean we're going to be really busy with swimming for the entire rest of our world. So therefore you would think that these schools here, spending 12 years, would have a huge focus, right, on swimming. But guess what? Nothing. This means make a living, basically. It's a metaphor for it, right? Nothing. And that is like sort of nuts, wouldn't you say? 12 whole years, and there's barely a word mentioned about it. Nothing's taught. So this is the big problem. The problem of this, I think, is greatly related to all the rest of this that's going on that's creating the failures. But so it's possible to provide a huge, massive solution with a website or a portal that would be as strong as Google and everything else that's going on. So to show you what that means is this new website would provide all the information about the money world for everybody to understand. There's millions of people trying to find out information about the money world, and they can't find it anywhere, and it's not taught in here, and it very much relates to this business of having to work for a living and make a living and trying to get to success. So this website is going to provide everything about the money world. Now, it will look very, very interesting, for instance, and it will work much on the same order as like Google Earth. I'm sure you've seen Google Earth. I'm sure you've seen Google Maps and things like that. Google Earth comes on, and they show a picture of the Earth like this, and the drawing, and it looks really nice in space and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And, then you're able to use a search engine with it, and you can put in addresses and various type things, and it'll zoom down and you can find out all kinds of information. Well, in our new website, right, what it's going to do, it's going to present a map of the entire money world, which has never ever been seen before. And basically it'll come onto the screen like Google Earth comes onto the screen, but this will sort of look like a view of the solar system with all the planets going around it, except this won't be the solar system and planets going around it. What this is going to be is an actual depiction of the entire roadmap of the entire money-making world. It will go all the way from just simple jobs all the way down to Trump or things like that, so that anybody could zoom in. There'll be zoom in searches and everything else like that. Instructional videos, all kinds of various type things within this. You can zoom in, get any piece of information you want, and it will all be free to any users. Here's why it will get hugely popular, because there's millions and millions of people out there that are seeking this information, but they can't find it anywhere. They can't get it from the schools. They need some place to get it. and so we're going to provide it. All right, so that's going to allow a gigantic corporation to be built. And I'm going to erase all of this stuff so that I can talk a little bit more about that. Just get rid of everything here. If you'll put up with me for just a bit, be able to erase all this stuff. Get rid of it here. Da, 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 da. Okay, now I'm going to get back to a brush that's small enough size so that I can use it again, and right on the screen. So what will happen is the business success is possible because millions of people will come to this free site, and they'll register just like they do on Facebook and just like they do on all the various type things, and they'll be able to have their own spaces in here. It'll be just terrific, and it'll go viral because people will start telling each other about it and how spectacular this place is. But we have to have a business model where there's income, right? And what will happen in that particular thing is not only will the site provide tons of free materials, it'll also provide things like ebooks, which we can have that are attached to videos that for reading on Kindles and iPads and various type things and all the computer screens everywhere. We can hook to all kinds of educational things and gain commissions and things like that for connecting people with those type things. Advertisers will want to advertise with us because they will provide interesting information for all the people that are using the system. So the way this will all happen is we'll set up a corporation, and we'll have an angel investor provide, say, $1 million to start so we can build it, and then once we can get it up and rocking and rolling and show a huge amount of results, the next thing that will happen is we'll be able to take this to venture capital, who will look at the growth that's been done and see the massive potential, and we'll pick up maybe another $5 million to go into the next phase of building. And of course the end goal will be to create a public stock. So in other words, what we will do is issue, say, 10 million shares at $10 each, and sell out on the open market and grow a gigantic company. It works like this. This is a standard model with all these kinds of companies, and it will create this incredibly gigantic, wonderful thing that will really help the entire world and all the people inside of it. So that's just my shortest version that I can make of this business to give a general idea of what can be done. And I'll catch up with you later. All right. Just sign off today, and make sure to send me an email at artkidsbasics.com after you've taken a look at this and let me know what you think. All right, cheers. Catch up with you later. Bye-bye.